Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, Commissioner. This should be a very uncontroversial proposal by the Commission. As the Commissioner said, enlargement, more member states, new technology, new equipment, computers. We need an updated Commission bit of legislation to allow good cooperation across internal borders in the Union against the bad guys, the organised criminals and so on. And I may say, having talked to the director of a major Anglo-Dutch company last week, he says that he finds organised crime is increasing, and I use the word which he used, exponentially, increasing incredibly fast. And yet the member state governments do nothing about it because the public doesn't know the full picture and doesn't push the governments. And so they say, well, don't worry, everything's okay. So we have a serious problem. So we need this proposal from the Commission, and it should be, everybody should agree, and it should go through. However, there should be nothing more for me to say, but actually there's a whole story to tell you, Mr. President, which I would now like to do. To my amazement, my own member state, the UK, threw in a veto in the Council of Ministers, saying they wouldn't agree to this. They didn't tell me, though I'm British, from the same member state. Not a single Labour MEP from the Labour government in London tabled an amendment to anything, but they chose my good friend Chris Seaton-Harris, who is going to speak, a very honourable man, who chose to pick up the Labour government's objection and tabled an amendment, which is slightly weird, but good luck to Chris, he's entitled to do that. But what were the Labour Party doing in all this? So I thought this is very strange, and there are a lot of other British objections and vetoes and opt-outs going on at the moment in lots of different policy areas. So I thought I would investigate what is the overall UK policy on all these directives that they're opting out of. What's going on? I went to OLAF, who deal with fraud in the EU, as we know. OLAF tells me that the UK refuses to cooperate with them, even though the UK loses billions on VAT carousel fraud. London says if we give OLAF a finger, they will take our whole arm, so we're afraid and we won't cooperate. This is very weird, so I made further inquiries in London. How does this work? And I'm told this is what happens. The Commission makes a proposal. A junior official in the appropriate government department in London has to write a briefing paper to recommend what will the government do about it. He's very careful. He's a bit nervous. He doesn't know what to do, so he says, we mustn't be too careful. We mustn't do anything about this. I recommend great caution. I don't think we should approve. Perhaps we should even opt out. And his careful paper, because he wants to be promoted and not sacked, goes up the tree in his department, and officials who are busy doing other things say, okay, and tick it. Other government departments ask for their opinion. They don't know either, so they say, it seems okay to us. It goes finally to a cabinet committee chaired by our foreign secretary, and he has a million other things to think about, and so it gets rubber stamped. So suddenly the government's position in London is negative, cautious, opt-out. We don't understand. We don't really know what's going on. Very strange indeed. So what happens next? Well, back to the IMCO committee in the Parliament. The result of the blockage in the Council meant that I have attended several informal tripart conciliations between the Council, first of all led by the Portuguese, now led by the Slovenians, in both cases excellently. And although no UK official has ever briefed me about anything, and I was therefore the only British person present at the conciliation, even though the British government apparently has a veto situation on this, it went through. And finally, the Commission and the Council have found a form of words which has enabled the British objection to be got round or overcome, or whatever words you like to use. So the amendments before the Parliament for voting tomorrow were all approved by the IMCO committee, and I hope very much that they will vote for them, the Parliament will vote for them tomorrow. But what's going on in London, Mr. President, I just do not understand.